Okay. Today's great. No, so what happened apparently was it had the correct microphone listed under properties, but for whatever reason it wasn't registering. I was unmuted. So I had to change the microphone and then change it back to my proper microphone. And we did it. So let me start over. Hi, everybody. If you just watched Task Force Unlikely, you know why I'm punchy, because it wasn't quite working. And it's just always frustrating when tech difficulties are the reason why you can't play a game. It's going to be a real good episode, too. I mean, they're all good episodes. But, yeah. Exactly, Jay. Watched. Although I am washed out as hell. Part of that's the screens. I can't do too much about that. Okay. If you witnessed the catastrophe of Task Force Unlikely, part of it was OBS, part of it was internet issues. OBS is working okay now, but apparently also everybody sounded weird on my laptop's OBS, which I'm going to have to listen to the recording to see if that also was weird, because it sounded okay to me. And it should record the way I sound. But if the settings are weird, yeah, we will have to see. Okay. So we tried, and that's the important thing, everybody. We tried. And hopefully I will get this all fixed before Sunday, but that is a problem for tomorrow's Andy. Okay, so Andy makes a friend. I need a friend tonight, so we're going to work on the Gracefall campaign setting. Previously, I might have called it Elsier or Wyanyoth. It's or Boot Underhill. It's had a couple names. But so and such. So this is going to be the setting for my next home campaign. They finished up Storm King's Thunder. And before that they did Princes of the Apocalypse. So they've done 2 campaigns in the Forgotten Realms, and we're going to switch it up a little bit to something outside of the Forgotten Realms and one of my homebrews. So the overview. Thank you, CC. That is... Thank you. The overview. The Moon of Wyanyoth. Home to 1 billion densely packed souls. An industrial haven of opportunity and business. The lunar surface has been totally covered by an enormous city, and its resources have been drained. The East Lunar Company has recently developed a type of Spelljammer dropship, which can transport willing adventurers, mercenaries, colonists, scientists, explorers, and outcasts to the surface of the dangerous and resource-rich planet below. Welcome to Elsier. Time to get to work. So, Wyanyoth is sort of like a Victorian Coruscant or Ravnica. It's this densely populated moon that's pretty much an entire city. That being said, there are areas that are uninhabited or have like big parks. So some of the swaths of land are somewhat protected. There is a crater that has a swampy lake in it where the city of Keldon once stood before it was ripped off into a demiplane of dread. However, canonically, in the Hattonverse, Keldon was saved from the Demiplane of Dread. So eventually it's going to show back up and just land back in that swamp where people live now. So that'll be interesting. So I've got a couple things on neighborhoods here that I've kind of poked at. The city of London, just because I think that's kind of funny. Let's do London. London. The crater Lake Keldon, which is the former home to Keldon Town. Now a crater that the Noxious River has flown into, creating a noxious and swampy lake. Yes. Yeah, Jay and Marty. Actually, Jay, Marty, and Liz, who were all in chat at some point, were all in Keldon. And yeah, Marty says you're welcome. Okay, so Hightown, Lowtown, the wards, the sanatorium, the pens. I thought it would be interesting to have clerics and druids using create food and water to help feed people, because they've run out of... They're running low on resources, and while they have livestock and such, it still takes up a lot of space, and a lot of space is more useful with buildings and such, in their opinion. Yeah, I watch a lot of Bon Appetit, which is why we have Leone Square and Half Sour Saffets, which is a bar. Yeah, and just kind of random names. So what else here? I've got St. Sala's Point, Tall Rock, Two Cliff, Clay Canyon, Evangeline Bluff, the Badlands, Volcanic Peaks, Ice Canyons, Storm Zones, and the Parched Sea, which is a desert or dry seabed. So this is just kind of stuff I've been poking at since the last time I talked about the setting. I talked about the races last time. Or did I? I'm pretty sure I did. Humans, Eladrin dwarves, orcs/half-orcs, Dragonborn, Fearbolgs, Loxodon, Turtles, and Triton are all sort of the old races of Wyanyoth. And then the new races are Gnomes, New Elves, Non-Eladrin Elves, Goblinoids, Warforged, which are the newest ones, and they weren't created by gods, they were created by people. Lizard Folk, Wanti, Halflings, Tabaxi, Aarakocra, Asimar, Tieflings, Centaurs, everybody else. Ganassi, Gith, Kenku, Knolls. Claire is an angel. Liz, hashtag IWDFC. I would die for Claire from the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen. Okay. So, the biggest thing I've changed... Sorry, I'm all over the place. So, the biggest thing I've changed since the last time we talked was I'm into Trinity Pantheons. Fate's Cove also has a Trinity Pantheon. It's very polytheistic after that. It's a pretty typical Pantheon. But I do have a Triumvirate in there. This is a little different. So in the Graceful Pantheon, truly there are only 3 greater gods. Evangeline, the Lady of Light, who is the goddess of civilization, order, light, good, healing, time, magic. It said the eyes of Evangeline watch over us all. I'm sorry, Jay, that it's not punny enough for you. But Evangeline is a shepherdess, the Lady of Light, Lady of Grace, Our Lady. She's the good god, the big good god. And her symbol is two shepherd. Can't spell. No. Oh, actually, what? Yeah. So it's two shepherds crooks crossed. So, you know, just kind of easy to draw. Things that are easy to draw. They probably would change it. Okay. So she's the first part of the Trinity, Evangeline. She's lawful good. So the second part of the Trinity, Dakul, is a former angel, and he is the Lord of the Dead and the judge, sort of the judge archetype. So he's true neutral. He's truth, justice, judgment. And I wanted justice to not be lawful good. Justice is neutral. I definitely wanted that. That is on purpose, and I wanted that there. I'm trying to, you know, do the kind of classic law versus chaos, good versus evil. At some point I had them flipped where chaos and good were together. That didn't fit this setting, though. But I think it would be interesting. Typically, when you think of, I was about to say Dr. Fate from the DC universe, but the Dr. Fate cosmology is just ripping off Moorcock, but Moorcockian law versus chaos. It's order versus chaos. And order is typically associated with good. So I thought it would be interesting to, if you flipped that and it doesn't fit here, some other place. But I am doing law versus chaos, lawful good. It's, you know, this is built on a society. It's a very civilized, city-focused, civilization-focused, business and economic-focused. That made sense to be lawful. It's not really about, you know, kind of wandering and freedom and all that stuff. It is, because that's what the setting will explore, which will be an interesting dichotomy, because their society is fairly rigid and civilized, and now they're going to this planet where there's only monsters. And I mean that in the most literal. There's no sapient creatures. They're monsters. It's all hydras and dragons. Well, dragons. But it's hydras and worms and undead eventually when people die on the planet. And stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's a great phrase where Marty in chat, I could see a Feywild forward campaign that way, where architecture is violence. I love that phrase. Why would you build a wall? No, you've made a barrier, you monster. Architecture is violence. Yeah. So Dakul is another former angel. So the three of these are former angels. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But anybody have any suggestions for... I might just delete the domains associated with each one, because I kind of want to be like, just do whatever you want. You think it works? Do it. Okay, so that's Dakul. Anything else? Time might be good, true neutral, but I kind of like the time as a good concept. I don't know why. And then finally, Pelark, King of the Wastes, Father of Monsters. He's angry at humans for slaying all of his children now. Chaotic evil. Not order. That's a holdover. Chaotic evil. Darkness, chaos, war, revenge, fear, monsters. And I had... At some point had something in the lawful good one that was like, I can't remember what it was now, but it was the other side of vengeance. Because we have vengeance and then we have justice for neutral. And I can't remember what it was though, and now I can't, now it's not written, so I'll have to think about that. I don't have written what Dakul looks like. I am picturing very classical death, but the scales of justice perhaps could play into it. Okay, first of all, bone wings, because Evangeline has wings, Dakul and Palarch all have wings. Oh, you know what? I might have been some form of redemption, Marty. Redemption, forgiveness. It might have been forgiveness. Let's write all of those down. Yeah, time and magic are kind of just added to the back because they're useful. Redemption / forgiveness / reformation. But if it is redemption or forgiveness, time does play well into that. Time and healing play well into that. Okay. Palarch has black feathered wings, a red sash covers his eyes, long black ram horns, and deep black hair. He's typically frowning, and he carries the flaming sword that Evangeline once wielded to overthrow the Titans. So, that's the Trinity, the Triumvirate. Below them, I don't have lesser gods, I have saints. So I've changed everyone who isn't one of them to a saint. You can still worship them as a god. It's not functionally, it's not mechanically different, but setting-wise, they're not gods, they're saints. They're elevated beings that the new gods deemed worthy of divine holdings, but they're saints. Mostly because they were not angels before. So as I said, Palarch, Dakul, and Evangeline were all angels during the Titanomachy, where the great old ones, the Titans, ruled. They overthrew the chaos, or the sort of unstructured chaos of the Titans, and allowed the humans and elves to sort of flourish and thrive. Titanorock. Sorry, let's see. What's happening in chat? Scales are a very neutral symbol. Yeah, I think scales are a good... Bone wings. Gray robes. Scales. Yeah, as long as the ledger is balanced. Exactly. But now I wonder if Palarch should have a sash covering his eyes, or if that should be Dakul, just because Justice is Blind kind of is another classic. So blindfolded, perhaps. But I also have that yeah, typically you can't see Evangeline's eyes either. She has a hood over her eyes. So maybe if we go full edgelord and Pelarch has kind of, hair over his eyes, like he's got, or creepy, this is always a creepy image, his horns don't start at the crown of his head, they start over his eyes and kind of go back. That's sort of, I saw some music video where that was in it. I don't know if that's a common concept, but it also reminds me of Steel Inquisitors from the Mistborn series, who have nails driven through their, or like railroad spikes driven through their eyes. Mistborn books are great. And creepy as shit. Man, Steel Inquisitors are creepy. They're great. I have the Mistborn RPG. We should play that at some point. But, okay. So, as I said, yeah, Marty in chat knows. You know what? Longhorn horns. Horns start over eyes, obscuring them. We're gonna italicize that because I don't know if I want to do that yet, but I can spell. Okay. So saints, as I said, the saints haven't changed. We have Sayla, Queen of the Open Sky, Goddess of Freedom, Flying Creatures, Choice, Pranksters, Luck, Preservance. I don't know, Preservation, I guess. Oh, Perseverance. Jesus, I can read. Perseverance. Totally here. Perseverance, the Sky, Travelers, Tricksters, Survival. So, kind of the dichotomy of it, she's the creator of Aarakocra and Goblinoids. Kind of referencing her two extremes. The freedom and flying creatures and choice and perseverance. I'm getting away with it, aren't I? Aren't I? Doing it. Perseverance, the Sky, Travelers, and then Goblinoids, Tricksters, Survival, Pranksters. Kind of the two polar ends of, and kind of showing you like the freedom of creativity and stuff like that. Like, look, no, they don't all have to be elves or snake men. All these slightly different elves, slightly different lizard people. So yeah, and then Aarakocra they're just bird people. Like, I don't really have anything too interesting for them, but I'm stealing this from the Knack McFeagle. That's right? From Tiffany Aching, Terry Pratchett series, where the goblins think this is the afterlife because God created them and put them on this planet. So this is clearly God put us here. This is heaven. Okay. Kayla, Heart in the Home, farming, agriculture, hearth and home. Farming and agriculture are much less big deals than they once were, so it's mostly hearth and home. But I also want this kind of the concept of these gods often have aspects of them that aren't worshipped as much anymore because of how civilization and how life on Wyanyoth has evolved. But as soon as you get down to the planet below, where some of this stuff becomes important again, farming and agriculture will become much more important. Travel and survival becomes a lot more, kind of, not that surviving in a city is simple. It's a different kind of thing. So I want these gods that have kind of evolved over time, or these saints evolved over time to modernize their portfolio, that kind of it's resurging in old versions, old worship of these gods. Thalen, the Lord in Iron. Dwarves, gnomes, halflings. I think I talked about him last time. Sonas, region of the stars. Elves, astronomy, magic, the ocean. Which there is not much of an ocean left on Wyanyoth. So once again, kind of, that's faltering. Pardon me. Okay. Calavera, god of artisans, poets, singers, creatives. So, and here's something like I was mentioning. Creator of the animals in the natural world that sort of fall into the wayside until you get to Elsier, and now it's more important again. Skolas, the serpent. Fertility, duality, rebirth, portals. Fertility, duality, and rebirth are often ancient religions associated with snakes. I thought portals would be just kind of cool to throw in there. But also, I'm sure there's some ancient Roman god where it's just like, yes, fertility and duality and magic and portals. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Because business is such a big deal, business, industrialization, expansion, money, gems, I'm going to delete Gasat. Because I don't need a separate god for it. They wouldn't worship a separate god for it. They would consider that part of Evangeline's or Thalen's portfolio. So I'm just going to delete that. Okay. So the Titanomachy probably was a Janus move. Real thanks a lot, Janus. Or Janus. Because Latin doesn't have J's in it. Which is weird for all this stuff that starts with J's in Latin. Jupiter. So the Titanomachy was Stargala, Folkalos, Gossot. Here's another reason to not use Gossot. Oh, sorry. I just got a news alert that's weird about travel bans to Europe. I'll have to worry about that later. Gossot, Arivlok, Jygak. Just weird names. Weird Titan names. Okay. So, on the government, I have Senate, magistrates, common councils, Lord Mayor, and ministers. I don't really know. It's just kind of words. I'm just like, these things probably. Factions. So, factions, the East Looter Trading Company. Wonder what that's a reference to. The Sisters of the Void are... they're dedicated to the old gods. Dedicated to the Titans. And I've been looking for a lot of music for this setting. So I've been listening to a lot of Postmodern Jukebox, Bioshock Infinite, a woman named Robin Adele Anderson, who is often associated with Postmodern Jukebox, but she does her own stuff as well, and she's great. And the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou soundtrack. And the Alison Krauss version of Down to the River to Pray is just freaky and great and perfect for kind of a Now this is a cult, everyone. The Voiceless Chapel, founded by tieflings. So I haven't done much about tieflings up here, but I want them to be sort of the religious zealot might be a mean word to call the Amish, but they just believe in a very strict, very orthodox religion. They are being punished for something. It's why they look like this. So they have to repent and live a very simple life. So many tieflings volunteer to go to Elsier, where they can get away from the city. It's religious freedom. They won't be persecuted anymore. Oh, poor the Amish. They won't be persecuted anymore. And they can kind of live a more simple, basic life. Scroll up and add that. Repent for past sins by living a simple, unoccupied isn't the right word, but unobtrusive life. They seek religious freedom and escape from city life and a return to more to simpler times. Okay. Some of these were former Star Wars concepts I had, so that's why you had things like the. I used to have something about slicing, but I think the Togawa Semi-Legitimate Trade Guild. It felt very Star Wars to me. Dim Star Union. I like the word dim, obviously. Dim Weaver. Obscure Technical Services. I still think these are kind of funny. Or maybe obscure occult technical services. Let's see. Hawaiian Yoth Occult and Mystics Society. Okay. Pardon me. Technology, as I mentioned, is roughly Victorian industrial or post-industrial revolution. They have a citywide trolley system. Money, I'm not using gold. I don't want to use gold. So I think I've settled on Hawaiian Yacht Republic dollars, or weirds. Call them dollars, call them bucks, call them bills, certs, notes. Just as we often have many, bucks, dollars, cheese, quid. So yeah, bills, certs, notes. I think on a certain denomination bill will be a person named Albin Bleakwater, so you can call him Als. Just as in the late 90s, everyone called $100 bills Benjamins. Popularized by a song. And then changes bits, I think. Shards, bits. Change your bits, probably. Okay. So, one-use magic items that replicate cantrips. So because magic is so prevalent, there's items that, it's a long match that you strike and it casts Produce Flame. It's, a glove that you put on and lets you cast Mage Hand once. But they only work once, typically. Maybe the glove lets you cast Mage Hand a couple times. It's got a couple charges. But, so stuff like that, like an ice cube that you smash and it lets you cast Shape Water or something. So we have a bunch of names for them here. I deleted some of them. I didn't delete a lot of them. Token. Okay, I think see, part of the thing is I like charms, but I do think that would get confusing with charm effects. So I'm going to delete that. I like it though. It's a shame. Same thing with chants and enchantments. I like it, but I worry it would be confused with the enchantment school. Speaking of charm effects. Or even enchanted magic items. Like, we already have that confusion. Do we need to add a third thing called enchantments? So I think I'm going to go with Trinket. I think I like Trinket. I think I'm a token or Trinket. Or Trick. Trick's good too. Okay, token, Trinket, or Trick I think we're going to go with. And then their uncolloquial name, their proper name is CRCs. Cantrips Ready to Cast. I think Timothy came up with that, and I do like it. So they're CRCs, commonly called CRCs, tokens, trinkets, tricks. I may narrow that down, but also, again, people have lots of different nicknames for things. So get rid of these, and then things that have more powerful spells in them are either going to be called shards or crystals. Very Final Fantasy. So Leomund's Tiny Hut, aka Emergency Habitat, aka Leomund's Tiny Emergency Habitat. So this is a weird font color for some reason. Okay. So I've been using Spelljammer a little bit loosely because they're not proper Spelljammers. They're not proper Spelljammers. They don't run on spells. They run on magic called Residuum, which I'm taking back from 4th edition. In 4th edition, if you broke down magic items, you got something called Residuum, which you could use to make different magic items. It's unobtainium. It's vibranium. It's whatever made up magic metal you want it to be. It's Residuum. It's concentrated magic. So you can create Residuum, but it's difficult. Ooh, I like that, Marty. Marty saying in chat, in that kind of low slang, I could see CRCs being crocs, cricks, or cracks. I'll write that down. Crocs, cricks, cracks. Okay. So yeah, they're Spelljammer dropships. I'm calling them drop jammers. So they haven't developed the technology to power them by spell slots or magic users, where you strap yourself into a helm and you can fuel a ship for an extended period of time using your spells, but using the power of your spells. Instead, it's fueled by Residuum, giving it, again, that more kind of steampunky Victorian era, you're shoveling coal kind of, you're shoveling this blue magic dust into a hopper and making sure the thing doesn't explode. So I've been thinking about ways to perhaps limit going back and forth between the moon and the planet. So one of the things is I've thought about, you just literally don't have enough fuel. Like, there's not enough residuum on the planet, on the moon. There's plenty on the planet. So you gotta get to the planet and mine it, gather it, whatever, and then you can take a ship eventually back. Alternatively, there's simply, you have fuel, but it doesn't make sense if the orbit of the moon is an oval, you know, and it's, let's say it's a 28-day orbit, that perhaps just literally 14 days out of the month, when it's, you know, it's 14 days of the month, not in a row, it's 7 and 7, where the moon is just literally too far away and the ship can't fly that far. Or you can, and it's just ill-advised. My giant-ass seltzer, pardon me. So I don't know if I have quite a firm hold on that yet, but I do think I want that to be a thing. And then the other thing is, I want in some way related, that you can't just teleport and use sending spells always. I think Marty mentioned this, but like literally you have to be able to see the moon to do it. I think he mentioned that when I was talking to him one day at work. And I do kind of like that, like some kind of magical radiation. If I can't see that moon, I can't teleport or send to it. So unless it's night, or if there's a new moon, you're just screwed. So I haven't quite decided how that will work yet, but I think I want it to be... I don't want you to be able to go back and forth a bunch. I want you to be able to do it because that's important to the setting. But, yeah. If I turn this off... Oh, that does look better. Not too bad. It's too annoying. Wow. Yeah, okay. Goddamn screen. Okay. Okay. I don't have much of a timeline yet. But I am thinking at 0 GF, the Gracefall occurs, and the Titans are overthrown. And the current year is 1888. So I created a calendar one day when I was bored. And literally created a calendar. So let's go through it. Okay. So, there were 12 months, 28 days in each month. Each week is 4 weeks a month, 7 days, 336 days in the year. You don't have to worry about 30 days, half September, April, June. Nope. Every month has 28 days. The months are Sokoli, Kalvember, Gosuber, Tarn, Kal, Selari, Arhela, Dakaran, Stockton, Wyanfar, Yothan, and Evanguary. Time is fake. Yeah, so time is fake, Jay. But Marty said, yeah, for sending, we discussed you can only do it when the moon is visible. I think I meant more that it's in the sky, like not in the planet shadow kind of thing, but phases adds an extra wrinkle I like. And I know we discussed that there are no teleportation circles yet because no one survived long enough to create one. That is true. It's essentially drop jammers are only 2 years old, and you'd have to send a wizard who can survive a year on the planet, and nobody wants to do that, to cast teleportation circle every day for a year. So, and then, yeah, you can technically teleport anywhere onto the planet, but you have to find a wizard who's willing to do it. And then also a wizard who won't mess up when they try and teleport there. So, yeah, so I don't think it'll be necessarily magical radiation, but I do kind of want sending teleportation, or sending especially, to only work when the moon is visible. I think that's kind of weird and funny and kind of, wait for them. And it's, it's sort of weirdly classic sci-fi. Like, it's kind of like, we're out of range. What does it mean? What do you mean you're out of range? Yeah, but phases of the moon maybe it has to be a certain certain phase. So you can't do, it's going to be like full or like, I used to know all the phases of the moon at some point, but like waxing gibbous, I don't know what that means. But like full or like, it's going to be like half full. So again, you can only do it half of the year or half of the month. Okay. So the days of the week: Sola, Luna, Daka, Ava, Pela, Sona, Waya. They all end in A, just because that's easy, and all of our days end in day. And then the 4 seasons are the long night. I'm almost certain I did not make that up. Whether that's from Game of Thrones or Aroas, I can't remember. Sorry, we're out of range. We had some range. We used it all up. Yeah, you used up all that range. Okay, so the long night, winter. The storm calm or storm call, I haven't decided yet. I originally was called the storm call, and then I think I misspoke when I was storm calm. And I think that's kind of funny for spring because, the phrase comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. So the storm calm, the first half is stormy, the second half is calm. It's literally storm calm. Bright sun. Oh, look at that, Andy. You have the word bright somewhere. What a shock. Only your fucking favorite word, bright sun. So, summer. Although, wasn't that also the name of... What was the name of that, James Gunn Superman knockoff movie? Like, the Superman horror movie. Was that Bright Sun? That might have been. And then Harvest Tide, fall. Okay. Sorry, it's getting a little late, and I know I just essentially went over the setting again, but I did change some stuff, so I did want to kind of talk through it. Let me finalize some stuff before I log off. So let's see. So we're gonna go teleportation, and let's go with mostly sending. So no teleportation circles exist on planet yet. Because no wizard has survived. I'm gonna have to place one. Sending spells. Brady McBrightface. Yep. Oh wait, here we go. Sorry, I'm missing some chat. Let's see. Which is good for creating tension. We have to send for backup by dawn, or it'll never get here in time. But also, depending on the flavor, creates convenient silences. Yes. Oh, was that just called Bright? Okay. No, wait, it wasn't Brighty McBrightface. Wasn't Bright the Max Landis movie about racism that was fantasy? Wasn't that called Bright? We're going to find this out in a second. Let's see. Okay, sending spells only work when the moon is visible. And wait, I didn't say I liked Max Landis. I just said, isn't it the one about Max Landis? Not about Max Landis. It's about racism with orcs. Yeah, and Will Smith. What? Sorry. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson have the coronavirus? What? What is happening? I was wondering who the first celebrity would be. I didn't think it would be America's dad, Tom Hanks, but... Okay. They probably live in Italy half the time. That makes sense. Okay. And perhaps... depending on moon phase. If I wanted to get real weird and technical about it, it's like if you, it could be. If literally you can't see that part of the moon. So you can, unless it's a new moon, you can send to the moon. It just has to be on the part that's illuminated. That would be very difficult for me to keep track of, but I could do it. You could just make a map and then kind of pencil out where, like, instead of time zones, it's like moon phases. Ooh. No, I love it. It's complicated and I don't care. Okay. And depends on moon phase. If that part of the moon isn't illuminated, you can't send to it. I don't know if that will be the same eventually for teleportation, but one of the players was mentioning something about like starting their own teleportation business, essentially, where they create a teleportation circle on a spaceship, fly the spaceship to a certain location, and then use the teleportation circle. And he sent an email earlier, and I don't know what it said. I haven't had a chance to read it, but do it. Okay. But that would also make teleportation companies a more valuable service, because they have to do like calculations for, well, we can't teleport you from the planet to the moon because, you know, you have to wait until this day, so it's a bunch of charts and stuff. Oh yeah, oh, that's even better. Yeah, so Waning Crescent real estate would be at a premium because it would be visible the most. So yeah, so then it's companies trying to buy locations on the moon that perhaps nobody cared about before, and now real estate prices are all out of whack. Oh man, oh, I love it. It's complicated and I love it. If that part of the moon isn't illuminated, you can't send to it. This creates this creates demand for certain sections of the moon to have offices and bases at. Okay. Sorry. 1888 is the current year, as I said. 1886, the first drop chamber is complete and maiden voyage to Elsyr is undertaken. The planet is found to be resource heavy but dangerous. Okay. Oh, let me think if there's anything else I want to add before I log off. Anybody in chat have any questions I should answer before I log off, or something you're curious about that I can either explain and or make up on the spot? But other than that, let me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to create a timeline. Like how in depth do I want to be? It's probably going to be, the back half will be more dense, but I'll probably 0 to 500 is probably going to be a lot of nothing. I don't know. Okay. I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. So I think I'm happy with where the Pantheon is. Yeah, so I'm really happy with where the Pantheon is. I think last time I was having problems kind of moving forward with it, but I really like where it's ended up. And I think that's pretty good. There will be slight tweaking, perhaps with, what people's portfolios include or what their domains include. But other than that, I think this is about good. It's not huge, which I like. It's just the Trinity, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other gods. So 9 gods. Not hard at all. Not bad at all. It doesn't cover all of the alignments, but if you include the Titans, it does. And if you include sort of extraplanar entities that aren't necessarily called out as a god, but are essentially gods, archdevils, archdemons, those are still present in the, Orcus and Demogorgon and Asmodeus are still present. They're just not necessarily called out in the Pantheon, obviously. And yeah, it looks like no questions or anything in chat. So this is getting there. I really need to. I really want to just sit down one day this weekend and really put it together so it looks more like the Fates Cove one, but that took me a while to make. But I love how that one ended up eventually. So I really got to write out some of this stuff, and especially because I got to send it to my players soon. But okay, yeah. My phone's blowing up. Okay, I think that's good for tonight. Thank you all for joining me for this impromptu stream. I'm sorry that Task Force Unlikely got canceled. I'm really sorry about that. But we will try and make it work again soon. On Sunday, it's our 2-year anniversary. And actually, our 2-year anniversary was last Sunday, even. It was the 9th. 2 years of Laughing Dragon. And thank you all for being in it, for watching it, for doing all you do. And I'm going to put all of the players through a murder dungeon. So, but also, it may or may not be plot important to things moving forward. Who could say? Me. Just now, I'm saying that it might be important. So, pay attention, won't you? Follow me on Twitter at Andy Hatton, and more importantly, at LaughINNDragon. Have a great night, everybody. And wash your hands and don't touch your face. I'm sure I touched my face a billion times in this stream because it's hard not to touch your face. Wash your hands. Be safe. Be smart. Don't panic. But be smart and be safe. Safety first. I'm going away. Hold on. There we go.